What is up, guys? Welcome back to Wrestling Crossroads. As always, I am one half your dynamic duo, Twisted, alongside Hex today.
Hello.
And we are recapping AEW's Double or Nothing. Overall, how did you like this?
Oh, so enjoyable. I enjoyed myself through most of it. I don't know if you feel the same, but it was so much fun to watch.
It was, all the way up until, and me and you agreed about this before the podcast, all the way up until the very end.
Mm-hmm.
It was really nice.
With very few dull breaks for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was another one of those pay-per-views where Pyro would say it was high spot after high spot after high spot.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't any nice mutual ground break where you could take the moment to breathe if needed. Nope, you had no chance to breathe, so everybody was kind of dead by the end.
Mm-hmm.
And that's unfortunate, because this match card was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So, getting us started, do you want to start us off, or should I?
I can. The first match we had was the Intercontinental Championship match between Roderick Strong and Will Ospreay.
I think you meant international.
International. What did I say? Internal?
Intercontinental. Which is a completely different company. We cover that as well, though.
International. Okay. My brain's fun.
Oh, you're good.
With the winner of that match being Will Ospreay.
I mean, beautiful match.
Exciting way to kick off Double or Nothing.
It was. There was a moment mid-match where you did see Roderick kind of be taken out and the medical staff kind of needing to check on him, or at least the ref.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw Don Callis try to get involved.
Mm-hmm.
He got up on the side ring apron and told Ospreay, hit your move, finish this, this is done, point blank. Mm-hmm. And Ospreay contemplated it for a minute. Mm-hmm. You could really see it stirring in him, and he was like, you know what, I can be evil like him, or I can be myself and not let this happen this way. Mm-hmm. And you thought from that Roderick Strong was going to take advantage of that, in the fact that Roddy was playing possum.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, I called that one for sure. I'm like, he's
definitely
not injured.
Oh, definitely. Everybody knew it. You know Roderick Strong, the United Kingdom. They love playing possum. Mm-hmm. It's just
he's done it before.
Mm-hmm. So, kind of going throughout, we had a bit more of a back and forth bout, and then match culminated. And thankfully, Ospreay did come out on top, which is...
It was one hell of a match.
Mm-hmm. It was absolutely beautiful. But then again, when isn't a Will Ospreay match absolutely beautiful?
I've never been disappointed by an Ospreay match that I have seen. So, yeah, I'm not disappointed in it. And even if Roderick would have came out on top, the match was so wonderful that it just wouldn't have mattered.
I think that, had Roderick come out on top, there could have been calls for a rematch. Mm-hmm. Because let's also talk about the fact that the United Kingdom stayed out there. They got involved multiple times during the match. They got involved in the beginning of the match even. And then there was a point where we had Wardlow with it, who got into the ring and got caught by the ref. Mm-hmm. And then everybody was escorted, to the outside.
I was shocked that he didn't kick him.
Right. Normally refs will kick you once they kind of notice that you're, interfering. But this was just get out of the ring, keep it simple, keep it alone, keep it these two. And that's weird, to me.
Yeah, that was a weird ref call there.
So, after the match, and I know we don't talk about much of the segments that go on, post-matches, unless it has to deal with the match itself, we did see United Kingdom member Adam Cole come out with story time with Adam Cole.
Yep.
And then something you called happened. What happened, Hex?
Adam Cole is talking about, he had the devil mask, and that's what solidified it for me. As soon as I saw that in his hand, I'm like, it's true. And as I had figured from earlier, MJF returns to AEW and confronts Adam Cole in the ring. And Adam Cole is quick to just be like, we're brothers, let's just hug it out. It's all fine. Yep. He obviously doesn't know MJF at all, because boy did he get fooled when he went in for that hug, thinking all was great, and then Nut kick.
Honest to God,
That's our scumbag.
Definitely. I loved Adam Cole's reaction. It looked like he had seen a ghost.
Oh, yeah.
When MJF came out.
Oh,
That was absolutely beautiful. Was seeing Adam Cole just shiver and quake in his boots.
He doesn't hold a flame to MJF.
No, MJF has surpassed what anybody has said about him.
He's on fire. Honestly. He's been gone. He's still on fire.
Mm-hmm. So, obviously MJF comes back. He grabs the mic. He says a little things about how he trusted Adam Cole after dropping him. And the refs kind of help him out of the ring. He says about how he trusted Adam Cole, how he knows to never trust anybody again. And then he name-dropped a certain person. He had his own little pipe bomb where he said, I don't need a New Japan or a Vince McMahon to make me famous, to make me on top. He talked about how he's coming back to the old MJF, and as the intro to, this podcast says, he's better than us. And he knows it. Mm-hmm. He went through the rest of his promo talking about how he's coming back. He's coming for Adam.
He's lone wolfing it.
He is lone wolfing it. And then there was the talk of his contract and where he was going to end up, because there has been speculations that MJF will leave. There were speculations years ago, in I believe 2021, about the fact that his contract was expiring. Everybody thought he was going to WWE because he was having issues backstage with Tony Khan and everybody in AEW. And then, they kind of got the ball rolling, and he really picked up speed and momentum. He got the AEW championship. Mm-hmm. Obviously, recently he lost that because of Adam Cole. And now we're here where he's returning, and he's still hot.
And he reveals where exactly he stands on the who am I going to, where am I, with that poker chip tattoo on the back of his hand signaling double or nothing for this year. It's AEW in the middle of that poker chip.
Yep.
He's here to stay. He's not looking to go to New Japan. No. He's not looking to come to WWE. If AEW exists, he's staying put.
And that's amazing to see somebody who has literally been the start of his own character and himself in AEW still culminate with that company. It's amazing.
And like I had said to Cauldron when we were talking during the pay-per-view yesterday, it did not matter where Maxwell was going. I was watching.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He could have gone to New Japan. He could have gone to Ring of Honor. I don't know why he would have, but he could have gone anywhere. I was watching.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't matter.
He brings your eyes to the screen. Whatever he is doing, whether it be face or whether it be heel, you want to see, because he has made himself that big of a star right now.
He's a legend on the mic. He's just incredible in the ring, and revisiting when he had that match with Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
He's injured. He's still out there. Kind of like, how other people have done it in the past. Like, Darby Allin came out later on in the night with still a broken nose.
Yes.
So.
Definitely. And we'll get to Darby Allin later on. Definitely. One thing I do want to say, we've talked about it, and it's kind of Pyro and Desario's main point whenever we talk WWE, AEW. There's one man in WWE who equals how MJF is in AEW. I'm not saying that they're better than each other.
No.
They are complete equals on the different brands. And it's somebody I know you kind of have a disdain for, which is funny. The Miz. They are equal. It is, I am better than you. I am great on the mic. I can work with anything in the ring.
Here's the thing between The Miz and MJF on that stand. MJF is funny.
Yes.
The Miz is cringy. He's been cringy since I remember him back when I was younger and watching it, and he still reigns cringy now. Granted, more tolerable for me now than he was back then. Yeah. A lot less obnoxious. I can definitely see myself being a fan more of The Miz coming up now that he's not
as cringy. His lady killer gimmick.
Oh,
yes,
gosh.
definitely.
Okay.
So, I say it this way. If there were to ever be an AEW versus WWE pay-per-view, however they do it, I'd love that, but I always want to have MJF take on The Miz. to really prove who can do it all.
I can understand that. I just think it would be an underwhelming match, personally.
I think both men could do it, and it could either be a main event or it could be an opener where your eyes are still there and you want more throughout the entirety of the pay-per-view.
Come on, AEW, WWE, prove me wrong. You won't.
Oh, lordy. Let's see how that goes. Anywho, going into the actual match that happened after that, the unified AEW Trios Championship Death Triangle challenges against Bang Bang Gang or the Bullet Club, however you see it. This match was very quick, I would say.
It did feel quite quick. It did. Probably because they all just move so fast.
Yeah, definitely. Although I do want to point out something. We were given kind of the wrong information on the pre-show. It was not Comandor that was my bad. That was in the match. It was Rey Fenix.
It was Rey Fenix, yeah.
Yes. Because, the original group of Death Triangle was Pac, Penta, Zero Miedo, and Rey Fenix, the Lucha Brothers. So kind of hearing that somebody else kind of was brought into it, it was intriguing for me. Although, unlike Pyro, I didn't fact check, unfortunately. But that's okay.
Yeah, we were very rushed. We were kind of derpy on that front. But
we fix it.
We're human.
We'll take care of it. It's okay. Like I said, this match, fairly quick. Again, you say probably because of how everybody moves. I agree with that. Closing moments of the match, because we do have a lot to get through, and I know we know
There's
how to
something
ramble
that happened
towards the
during
end.
that match, though. First, do you remember? How about the return of a Bullet Club member we have not seen in a while? My other boy, yes, I get it. I got it so quick together. I was on cloud 9 for the first 45 minutes of this pay-per-view. My boy Juice Robinson came back. His curly hair all over the place. His facial hair making him look like a mountain man. It's great.
He looks like, honest to God, if he wasn't in the chains, he'd look like a homeless dude that just ran out of the entire crowd.
He's a deranged honeycomb man, remember?
He is. I swear to God. Oh my God. Juice Robinson is one of those people that I cannot personally stand, but he's hilarious to watch in a ring.
See, I love him almost as much as MJ.
Alright. So, Juice Robinson jumps in, kind of helps Bang Bang Gang kind of pick up their win and celebrates with his boys, continuing the Bang Bang Gang's kind of reign over the Trios Championship, more or less.
Yeah.
Alright, our next match.
Alright, our next match was for the AEW Women's World Championship with Toni Storm versus Serena Deebs, with the winner being Toni Storm. I don't know about you, but I thought this was probably the slowest match.
This was, but Serena Deebs is more of a technical person. Although it was slow, it was longer. It felt longer than the Trios match before it.
Definitely.
It did have its moments where it did pick up. You thought Serena Deebs was making really good traction. But towards the end, when Toni was going for her, I think, attempt at the third or fourth hip attack, you saw them both really slow down. It's like you had thrown in, when you were a little kid and you got the DVD player, you paused it, and then you went fast forward, and it's moving in slow motion. That's what you saw for a good solid minute or two. Was these women, everything caught up with them and hit them like a freight train.
It's almost like the adrenaline wore out.
Yeah, their adrenaline dropped. And it was what's going on? You never usually see that in a ring. And it's both of them figured the match was going to be over already, so why not just take that moment of breather? But I think that really made the match lackluster.
The most exciting thing that happened during that match was the almost attempt of Mariah May throwing in the towel, which, let's be real, Toni would have lost her mind if Mariah would have done that. But who's to say she wasn't going to do that because she was mad?
Right, her face afterwards.
Because remember, Toni Storm threw in the towel for her when she was in a certain submission hold because she was worried about her safety. So who's to say that this didn't come from spite and wanting revenge from when,
when Tony
where
did
does she
it.
really stand, especially when she was wrestling with that, who was that person from New Japan that had come in who worked with her in New Japan? I forget her name.
The people that
with the champagne glasses.
Oh Lord, I can't even remember.
She popped in a month ago.
Yeah.
And now there's that thing going on too, so I'm wondering, is she drifting away from Tony?
Could be that.
And
definitely.
this was just like revenge from that match now that she has someone else there. And I mean, she feels like she doesn't need Tony anymore.
And there was a moment where, Luther did take the towel, and then Tony saw Luther with the towel and was like, oh, no, it's you. Mm-hmm. And Luther's like...
The look on Mariah's face after, like, oh, you got caught.
Yeah.
Shame on you. Innocent.
It does kind of play into it. I think you're going somewhere with that, definitely.
Sneaky.
Mm-hmm. All right, going into our next match, we have Orange Cassidy taking on former best friend Trent Beretta. I want to point out, before even the match started, you could see a shift in Orange Cassidy.
Something was different about Orange.
He came out in a black shirt.
He had different music, too.
Mm-hmm. There was a whole different shift. And one of the things that Brother Pyro pointed out to me when we first started watching AEW that he noticed, and I don't know if it still reigns true to this day, is there's a tunnel for faces and there's a tunnel for heels.
See, I didn't even notice that. I noticed the tunnels, but I didn't know they had a purpose.
If you go back and you watch older AEW tapings, there's faces that come out one side and there's heels that come out another.
Huh.
And it still could probably reign true to this day, and they may have kind of gotten a little bit lighter on the subject of it, but when AEW came out with their backstage stuff, when Sammy Guevara was still there, when Ty Mello had just started with her baby bump, and they were just about to announce it, you hear them say that Sammy needs to go to the face tunnel because Sammy's a face at that moment, so he comes out the face tunnel. And normally that's the side that Orange Cassidy comes through, but he came through the heel side last night.
See, and I didn't know that the tunnels had meaning, so I wouldn't have picked that up.
Yeah, definitely. Like, at least former heel side, he came out that side, which was very shocking to me.
So then what does that mean when the Young Bucks come out from the center? Are they just neutral?
They're just special. They're just special. Anywho. This match, I'm not shocked that Trent dominated a majority of it.
I'm not either.
He had a reasoning. He had everything behind him to do so.
And it's been his thing lately. He's been out for blood. He's been rabid.
Yeah.
Feeling like he's been wronged.
Not much of a defense on Cassidy's side because Trent never gave him a chance to, but these men knew each other so well that any which was countered.
Yeah, there were so many counter in a row.
And you hear that on commentary. These men know each other so well, they're countering each other's every move. Mm-hmm. It was absolutely beautiful, though.
It was.
It told every bit of story it needed to. Mm-hmm. And then, Orange Cassidy even goes for the orange punch. And Trent still blocks it. Mm-hmm. Closing moments of this match, we see Orange get the upper hand and picking up the win. You could see Trent start to stir in his anger in the ring.
That's far from over.
Once he left, I don't know who
Rocky Romero,
okay. Rocky Romero came down. They tried to get an interview with Trent, and he walked out through the crowd, out of the stadium.
Shoving Rocky Romero off to the side. Just trying to be his friend. But
does this mean that we're done in general? Like, with the whole of it? Does this mean a downward spiral more for Trent? What does this mean,
Maybe he comes back darker.
But I also want to point out that Don Callis was on commentary for this match.
He was. I definitely noticed that. I was listening when, especially knowing he's been talking to Orange, I was listening. I'm like, all right, I better hear Don Callis' voice because he's been nothing but by Orange Cassidy. Yes. And sure enough, it was on commentary.
I want to point out, because I don't know when it happened in the night, but I know it happened further on in the night. Don Callis was asked to do an interview. Mm-hmm. And he had pointed out that on Dynamite, he will be presenting a contract to Orange Cassidy to join the Don Callis family.
I don't recall him actually mentioning a name. But he just said he was going to present a contract.
You knew who it was for.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because everybody else has just joined. Orange is the one he wants now.
But will Orange...
I don't see it happening.
I don't either. Will he have a shift in who he is? Sure. But he's not the Don Callis family.
Either that, or I could see his interest in Orange really being to get at Trent Beretta.
Mm-hmm. See, that's where my brain went a little like, well, like maybe he's not really. He's there for more for Trent, because like Trent's got that cutthroat.
Yeah.
Like
Orange,
that the rest
can
of the,
have it.
That the rest of the Don Callis family has aside from Ospreay.
Yeah. I would say Orange can have that cutthroat moment, but it's not like big Beretta. As Beretta's. Alright, our next match, please.
Alright, our next match was for the FTW Championship with Chris Jericho versus Hook versus Katsuyori Shibata. With the winner being Chris Jericho, because what did I call Big Bill interference?
Yes. I was shocked, though, I want to point out, that Hook was the first one to go for the toys. He was. And then there was the moment where Shibata goes to the other side of the ring and grabs... They're not kendo sticks, but they were sticks of some kind, because they were wrapped. Throws one in the ring for Jericho, and then him and Hook get in, and Jericho's hitting them, and it's like nothing. It's like, you're tapping your friend. Certainly. It was absolutely nothing, and then they went ham on Jericho. Yeah, it was beautiful.
They didn't care about each other, and then we're just gonna take this and beat them down a little.
No,
their hatred for Jericho right now is more than their desire to beat each other up for the match at that moment.
Definitely. There was a moment where we got to see the double submission, which is how they ended up in this match.
I love when that happens.
But the ref was like, there's no clear winner then. Like, let's figure out who's really doing this.
We did it once for this match. We're not doing it again for the win. It's not happening.
Yeah, no. Somebody needs to be champion. After that, more toys are presented in. And then... we think that Chris Jericho is going to tap to Hook as Hook has locked in Red Room. To Big Bill coming in and saving the day. Entering in more toys for Chris Jericho. And then there's another moment where we see Big Bill's taken out. Hook takes him out into a table. And there's another moment where you think either Shibata's winning this or Hook's winning this. Because again, Jericho's the one that's kind of out of it. But
and
then
they put Big Bill down.
Jericho has a hitman enter. And who is it other than the man that they beat to be in this match? He takes out Shibata in the trash can, and Jericho picks up the scraps.
I don't know. I thought that was silly, but
it was very silly.
I get it that you got pinned by both of them for it and you're angry about it, but huh?
Yeah, no.
That I don't know.
Anywho, into the next match, IWGP Eliminator match, where if Takesha wins, he gets a chance at the title, Full Flame, against Jon Moxley. I have never seen Moxley as taped up as when he walked out last night.
I don't like the state of seeing his left shoulder on the back.
Yes.
That was, you could tell that something's really wrong with Moxley because of how that shoulder looked when you would see his back. Granted, we never really got a long time to look at it, but enough to see that something's not right with Moxley's shoulder.
There was also that one really awkward moment in the ring where he brought the arm under and then did a swoop with the arm, and the way Mox landed, there could have been a dislocation there. And
see, and I was wondering that later on in the match when Moxley was like shoving that arm into the corner, almost as if to put it back where it's supposed to be, and that's why I was like, I wonder if he dislocated it.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where you'll see wrestlers that they really want to continue a match, they'll go into the corner and they'll just pop it back into the socket. You'll see them sometimes running themselves into a corner. I've seen it in WWE even a couple times. AEW is more common for it, but WWE, you've seen it at least once or twice where they're like, yep, nope, I'm good, let's go. I've seen it on the barricade outside too, which is kind of scary.
It was a brutal match.
It was. But
there mostly one-sided for a lot of it, which was shocking.
Especially for a John Moxley match.
Yeah, for Moxley to be thrown around like he was nothing like that was head-scratching, like, wow.
Yeah, but Takeshita, he's
one hell of an athlete.
Yeah, he's a very dominant athlete. There was, a lot of points where he was dominated, where Don Callis was kind of praising Takeshita on the outside, because obviously another member of the Don Callis family. That man was on commentary more tonight than I have seen anybody on commentary. I swear to God.
I prefer Daddy Magic. Matt Menard. Bring him on commentary more instead of Don Callis.
Definitely. Closing moments of this match, we thought that Takeshita had it won. He was picking up the win. He was going on, and Mox was going to have to face him for the title. But ultimately, Mox dug down deep and grabbed him with his double-armed DDT, picking up the win. And to no surprise of our own, Jon Moxley retains. And then medical staff kind of ran into the ring to check on Jon Moxley.
Yeah, they needed to.
Yeah, definitely. But that showed him off, too.
If that's Moxley, though.
Definitely.
Especially after a match like that. He don't want nobody touching him.
All right. Into our next match, one I knew you were very excited about and absolutely loved from start to finish.
The beloved TNT Championship Barbed Wire Steel Cage match with Adam Copeland versus Malakai Black, which was revealed on Collision before I had a chance to see Collision.
Yes.
And we did the podcast before I watched, where there was another stint with Adam Copeland appearing on the monitor, this time in front of House of Black members Buddy Matthews and Brody King. Still talking to Malakai, but not with Malakai being the ones watching. But this time, twisting the match even further, saying, so if I lose, I have to bend a knee and ultimately become a House of Black. Part of the House of Black.
Yes.
But if I win, then he takes Buddy Matthews and Brody King and forms what he would like to call the House of Blood. Which was chilling. It gave me chills listening to him do that and just being like, talking like them like they were just like someone's dogs.
Honestly, and the thing is Malakai is a dark figure in and of himself, but he has never seen Adam Copeland go to a dark side.
No.
And Adam Copeland knows where to go.
Malakai, I don't think he knew what he was exactly getting himself into when he removed that wedding ring from his finger.
Oh yeah, he said in the video package, this is the only thing that has kept me grounded, kept me from going to that place. And now you have removed it. Now you have released something.
What did he talk about?
All right, let's talk match before we talk winner. I kind of want to give the suspense to the listeners. So, take us through this match just a bit.
All right, so I don't know if it was the adrenaline running through my veins with watching it, but I remember but bits and pieces.
Take us through
of
the
this match.
Pieces.
So the bits and pieces I do remember is it was pretty back and forth, it seemed to me, but it seemed like through most of it, Adam Copeland was really the stronger one in it.
Like I said, he knew where to go, and speaking of dark, the entrance that Adam Copeland came out with was, and they've talked back to it, he knows where to go. He went to a part of himself that used to be dark. And if you are familiar with WWE, the Brood that he was in with Christian Cage and Gangrel was dark.
Unfortunately, I never got to see that, so maybe I'll just have to go back and watch that on my own accord.
Go in the archives of WWE.
Go in the archives, see baby Adam Copeland.
Yes, definitely.
Baby face, long hair.
But he knew where to go for this dark side of himself, and he went Brood. Came out in a tattered trench coat, kind of like his normalcy, and just red everywhere. Mm-hmm. And it was beautiful.
It was eerie. It was wonderful.
Yes.
It was everything. It was everything a match with the House of Black members should have been when someone's trying to get on their level. And in the end, leading up to this, truly Adam Copeland outdid Malakai Black.
Yes. Take us through the rest of the bits and pieces you remember.
So, if I remember correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, the first person to have gotten busted open was Malakai.
Yes.
And he almost immediately, Adam Copeland went for that barbed wire.
Yes.
And there have been multiple moments where that barbed wire came into play, whether wrapped around a bat or scraped across someone's head.
Oh, yeah.
And even coming into play later on in the match, when Adam Copeland used it to tether Malakai Black to a table.
Yes.
Where he would then climb up to the very tippy top of the cage and come down in a rather rough landing, if I do say so myself, on top of a bound Malakai Black through that table.
I was intrigued to hear before this match that they had said winner is by pinfall or submission, because normally in a steel cage match, you have to either escape out the door or you have to climb over. But there was a point later on in this match, and I'm pretty sure you remember it, as to why the escape through the door wasn't part of the winning in this.
It was padlocked.
It was.
It was padlocked, and later on in the match, it was forced broken open by Malakai and Adam Copeland in their tussle, and not long after they ended up on the outside did the House of Black members, Buddy Matthews and Brody King, show up and kind of play mind games with everybody for a little bit. First going to Malakai Black's side before surprisingly transitioning and standing next to Adam Copeland before ultimately beating down Adam Copeland.
That gave me a little bit of a heart attack.
Malakai Black edge. It was for the mind game for Adam Copeland.
Yeah, definitely.
I had to kind of get in the mind of Adam a little bit there to help out Malakai.
Yeah.
But ultimately, not even them, in the end, could stop Adam Copeland, who ended up being the winner in the end. I don't know if you remember any other fun parts that I'm missing in my excitement of the whole thing.
I do. I remember that once they pulled Adam Copeland into the ring. You're good.
I remember now. Good.
They pulled Adam Copeland into the ring, and all three members were kind of having their way with him. And then the lights started flashing. You could hear something, so you saw Malakai kind of pause.
I was confused too. I was like, wait, huh?
Yes. At this moment, they have Adam's arms wrapped in barbed wire, and they have a barbed wire crown
placed on his head,
which kind of looked sacrificial.
And almost like putting the thorny crown on Jesus' head. Kind of like the House of Black versus someone who they viewed as a light figure, but that's not who you're with in that ring right now.
No, it is not. And we ended up seeing that in this moment. The lights started flashing black, or
almost
red and
as
black
soon as that crown went on his head, too.
Yeah. There's a moment where they kind of drop Adam. Adam's completely out of it. And Brody King goes over to the farther side of the ring to kind of inspect what's going on. And then he jumps back, and nobody knows what's going on. And the ring starts to break in one spot. And out from the under the ring, we see Brood member Gangrel come and assist Adam Copeland,
who I know nothing about, which is why it just didn't stick in my brain, because I was just like, who is this clown coming out of them?
Definitely. He is part of the Brood from WWE. It was very surreal for people who have watched Adam Copeland since his days in WWE to see another member of the Brood kind of come.
Certainly wasn't going to be Christian Cage, now was it?
Oh, no. Definitely not. Unless he striked a deal with that devil and the entire army of him.
Yeah, right.
Lord knows that'll ever happen. But Gangrel ended up taking out the other 2 members of House of Black and Malakai as well for a short bit before Adam Copeland kind of put the sacrificial crown on Malakai, making him
crossface on it,
making him pass out
to retain his championship. And boy, was that wild!
It was
a
wild.
Crossface with barbed wire.
Yes.
Holy guacamole, Batman!
Definitely. Going into our next match, we have the start of our 3-tier main event. I liked how they announced what was going to be first, and it was with the slot machine. The slot machine gave us our order.
That was slick. That was slick.
Mm-hmm. So, TBS Championship on the line. Willow Nightingale defends against Mercedes Mone in what I can say was a very equal but boring match for Mercedes. And I've seen her as Sasha Banks put on really good matches. Even against likes of Nia Jax. And this was back when Nia Jax would injure anybody she stepped in the ring with. She did a phenomenal job. But tonight was just... She looked more on the outside like somebody scared to lose than somebody willing to win. And that's my personal preference on it. Mm-hmm. Not really many memorable moments in this match aside from there was a moment towards the end where Mercedes Moné shoved Chris Statlander, got in her face, and Chris did not care about the match going on inside but wanted to take out Mercedes because of the shove. She distracted the ref at that moment.
Stokely gets up too.
Yep, and Stokely as well. To kind of get Chris to come down and not necessarily distract the ref, but Chris was doing all that. Willow hits her power bomb, and it should have been 1, 2, 3. That should have been the end of it.
But Stokely doing what Stokely seems to do best and not know how to back down.
Yeah. The ref gets back in. We're technically at a 6 count now. 1, 2, Mercedes gets her shoulder up. And in the end, Mercedes, in a very beautiful fashion, was able to hit her moneymaker. That on a bigger opponent for how small Mercedes is still a beautiful strength. It shows a lot of strength in that. Ultimately, picking up the win, your new TBS champion, Mercedes Moné. After the match, though, is what I want to talk about.
Oh, man.
We see Stokely get into the ring and kind of bash on Willow Nightingale about how she didn't get the job done. Chris Statlander kind of pushes him to the ground and says, "This is not your moment. This is about her. We need to care for her." Her and Willow start to walk up the ramp, and Chris Statlander attacks Willow, taking off the friendship bracelet and throwing it to the ground. Stokely, who we think is going to stand by Willow, turns and stands behind Statlander.
He's smiling. The biggest smile from that ring is watching Chris Statlander turn on Willow and throw that bracelet at her.
Yeah. So I'm very excited to see where this goes.
I definitely thought they were, like we said, I've talked to you about this beforehand. I thought Willow was going to end up being the one to shock us all in turn, because she's always that smile through it all, you know?
I don't think that's going to come for a while. I think she has to solidify herself more.
I was shocked and I really shouldn't have been, that Chris was the one who turned. I guess I was just like tunnel visioned on that.
Yeah, definitely. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you know,
that just means I'm invested.
All right, take us into our second to last match, please. I know I'm actually kind of
a second to last match for the AEW Championship between Swerve Strickland and he's a father, Christian Cage. It's all a huge revenge plot from like a year ago when Swerve came into Nick Wayne's gym for his father and hit him over the head with that picture frame, bloodying him and smearing his blood all over a picture of his late father. And this was all part of like a revenge scheme because, heaven forbid, you know, he was a part of your life at the time, but you know, whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
He felt the need to take it upon himself when, all actuality, I think Nick Wayne should have been the one to take revenge. But, he's a father.
Yeah, father's got to stand up for their children.
So, I don't know what to say about this match, really. I'll let you run through the match, because honestly, I'm just a bit
we were all
scattered with this match.
With this one, it was more dominant on Christian Cage's side, which is a little shocking because I've seen Swerve work some beautiful matches. It's like he couldn't get his proper footing for a while. We did see some interference between Killswitch and Nick Wayne. And early on, which was very early on in the match, we saw Prince Nana
get removed for being
as I
on
call
the stairs.
Princess Ndugu, gets removed because Mama Wayne grabs the title and he takes it from her.
But ref didn't see that, unfortunately.
There was a time during that ejection where the ref was paying attention to Prince Nana, where Killswitch and Nick Wayne took advantage of Swerve kind of being out of the eye shot of the ref.
Yep.
Speaking of ref eye shots, I want to say something about way earlier in the night, the very first match that we had. Ref was tending to, I want to say, Roderick Strong on the far side of the ring. How did this ref magically not see somebody run right past him on a rope and then jump out of the ring? I'd like to know how he didn't magically see this dude hit the ropes right next to him.
He was wearing invisible blinders like they put on horses.
Apparently so. Alright, back into this match. Anywho, I had to get that out of the way.
Fair enough.
Further on into this match, we see Killswitch kind of get a little lazy in how he protects himself from the ref's blind spots, where he did get caught ultimately, and the rest of Christian Cage's family was ejected from ringside.
All of them, because then they all just got up on the ropes. Like, you just damned all of yourselves when you all hopped up on those ropes. It couldn't have just been him.
Right.
Y'all kind of did it to yourselves there.
Nope, we ended up with all of them gone into the back. And then further on in the night, we saw Nick Wayne come back for a brief moment.
Followed by Prince Nana with a pipe.
Well, I'm talking about right before the Prince Nana with the pipe. He ended up hitting Swerve on the steel in the steel steps and putting him in the ring, hiding. And then we had the 1-2, but it was only 2. Nana comes out and chases him into the crowd
with a lead pipe.
I love Nana. Absolutely beautiful.
I love Nana so much.
You really saw Swerve dig down deep and find his footing as a champion in this match, I think. Defeating a legend. Because Christian Cage, by all means, is a legend in the ring.
He is.
So for Swerve, this being like his first title match against a legend of Christian Cage's caliber, and him winning was absolutely beautiful. It told a lot about Swerve Strickland as a person and as a champion. All right, into our last match, our main event, the end of the triple main event, because, again, Tony Khan doesn't know what the main event is. Anarchy in the arena, Team Elite versus Team AEW. At this moment, the crowd is tired.
So was I. It was like 12.
It was getting close to... I mean, this whole thing ended at about 11:30. So
I started watching way late. I had no choice. So.
Yeah. No. Again, I was only a couple minutes behind in mine, but it ended at 11:30. It's a little ridiculous.
Yeah, I think by the time we were finished, it was 1 in the morning, and I was like checked out of living for the day.
Definitely. So Team Elite is making their entrance to start off this entirety, and just before the scapegoat Jack Perry is able to make his entrance, Team AEW attacks.
Which was smart.
Yeah.
It was smart of them to come up like that so they could have the upper hand immediately. It was smart. It was very smart.
Everybody goes every which way. It was funny because
Darby's music hits.
Darby's music hits, and that's all that's playing for a while. Is Darby's music. One of the Young Bucks grabs the mic and says, "Turn this crap off. Why don't we play our new theme music?" And then their music plays for a bit. Yes. And then you get Bryan Danielson grabbing a mic and saying, turn this shit off. How about we listen to the greatest entrance music of all time?
I thought it was going to be his entrance.
I was so ready for it to be his. Nope, it is the final countdown. And I want to point out that before this even started, before anybody made their entrances, Justin Roberts beautifully, and excuse my French on this, says, "This is about to be a shit show."
He was not wrong.
Oh my goodness, I love it when Justin Roberts announces things because he can be so creative with it. And this is about to be a shit show. Let's go on with it. So, everybody's doing their own thing. We got the final countdown playing. And for a brief moment, there's a beautiful time where Darby Allin is out in the stands, and he goes and does his coffin drop into the arms of about 4 or 5 of the other members in this match. And it was beautiful because it was like perfectly timed with the final countdown. Outside of the arena, we see Darby Allin and Jack Perry. Darby Allin attempts to drown Jack Perry.
That was pretty funny.
For a moment. And then we cut back into the arena while they're kind of scuffling, and one of the Young Bucks, again, I don't know if it's Matt or Nick, takes the microphone and says, "Can we turn this off? We're on a budget, and this is, every time this replays, we're spending like $2,000.
They are so wacky. They've been so funny, but so annoying.
And it works because that's beautiful for their gimmick.
It is. They're doing their gimmick wonderfully.
So, we go on through the night, and there's a moment where Flash says, "I want to see everyone." And it was beautifully timed because then we come back after a replay and there's 4 different cameras showing where each of the 4 members of each team are. And I'm like, oh, Flash, you got what you wanted. I mean, it's for a brief moment, but you got what you wanted. And then we go back to the outside where Jack Perry now has a lead pipe hitting Darby Allin with it. And we think that Darby Allin is now being thrown into this pile of garbage. We cut back into the arena. More people are being busted open. We now find out that Dax Harwood is broken open.
Yeah.
But he's like Jon Moxley. You breathe on the dude and he's busted open. In every match that I've seen in FTR, he's the first one to be busted open.
Maybe he should have kept the hair. Maybe that would have helped.
Oh my lord. So he's busted open. We're still fighting. We're still beating each other. And we go back to the outside, where Jack Perry hits the load of garbage with a truck.
And knocks himself out in the process.
Yes. And the thing is at that moment, it's on the Jumbotron. So everybody pauses. The Young Bucks are scared. Bryan Danielson is showing fear and concern. Even the FTR, they're just like, what the hell just happened? Well, I'm still beating the hell out of somebody. Goes back to the match. But everybody you could see just, what the hell? We get back into the match. Everybody's beating the hell out of everybody. And then we see Jack Perry in the back. And he goes for Tony Khan.
And me and Darren were screaming profanities at that point. Like, what's the point?
I don't know where Tony Khan went. Nobody knows. Because it cut off. The cameras went away. He comes out, and you could tell there was going to be something because the Young Bucks were waiting by the tunnel. And, this is right before I believe they were doing everything with the poker chips further on down. Darby Allin comes out after they have dropped him down on
let us mention that Jack Perry is wet. We don't know why. We don't know how he got wet, but he's wet.
He was drowned in the bucket.
He was drowned in the bucket.
Yeah. This is after they had dropped Darby Allin down on their entrance in the middle. Yeah. Right. Their entrance. I don't even know what you call it, where they come up from under the ground. They dropped him down.
A weird elevator, I guess.
Darby Allin comes out with a flamethrower and sets Jack Perry on fire.
Bye. perish.
Here's the Young Bucks grabbing the fire extinguishers. And
I'm like, so that's why the extinguishers are out there. I should have put 2 and 2 together, knowing what I knew about Dynamite when Tony Khan drove him with that flamethrower into the building.
The thing is you saw it on the side of the entrance ramp, and I knew something was going to happen, but we never knew what was going to happen.
I was so distracted with everything else that those were the least of my concern.
And then they take it to down by the poker chips. They take out Bryan Danielson. They take out one half of FTR. This moment I can't remember who it was. And then we go down to the ring after Darby Allin has been taken out. Closing moments, they tie up Darby Allin by the feet. And this is before they lifted him.
Yep.
And Jack Perry presents,
Kazuchika
Okada
Rainmaker
presents their new shoes with thumbtacks glued to the bottom. And then we lift Darby. And both of them super kick. You think there's life in Bryan Danielson to get in, and there's nothing. But he does have a moment where he takes off the shoes of one of the Young Bucks and hits them all in the head with it. Ultimately, ending out the match, we have Jack Perry taking the upper hand, surprisingly pinning Bryan Danielson.
That'll be an interesting singles later.
Yes. And especially before Bryan retires. Yes. But Jack Perry being the one to kind of go over, it was very shocking. But ultimately, the Elite won this match.
I have a qualm with this match. You already know what I'm going to say because we talked about it. I complained about it.
Yes.
As did a lot of people in my household, including some members that don't even watch it.
Mm-hmm.
In no way do I think it is okay for you to put anything sharp in the front of someone's face via super kick. Period. Point blank. Eyes closed or not, those are sharp. They will go through your eyelid. I do not care.
Yes.
That needs to be addressed, in my opinion, because that wasn't okay.
No.
I can get at the head, to the back of the head.
Right.
The face, nuh-uh. There's too much there, dude.
Especially with him having the broken nose. Yes.
What were they thinking?
Yeah, no. That's something that I don't see was okay.
I'm still pretty angry about it.
Yeah.
This morning.
No, I totally agree. I do.
It's like, I can understand getting wild and stuff. Do what you want. But that was so incredibly
Even if it's
dangerous.
more at the side of the head.
You could have blinded him.
Mm-hmm.
Eyes closed or not, you could have blinded him.
Yeah, no.
That's not okay.
That was not okay. But ultimately, that wraps up our Double or Nothing AEW pay-per-view, which, in all was a very good pay-per-view.
It was a good pay-per-view, and
but you were dead by the end of the pay-per-view, unfortunately.
Which is probably also why I got so heated about everything that happened there. Yeah. But there's just some things I don't crack on, and that's anything sharp going in someone's face. It's not okay.
Yeah. I do want to point out there is one thing that I did forget about this match. The entrances with the Young Bucks and the Rainmaker was absolutely beautiful. The start of it, where they brought out the chip and they dropped it, and as it dropped, his music dropped, which starts with a coin falling.
There was some slick stuff done.
Yes.
Throughout this.
Yeah. But ultimately, that is the end of it. Hex, thank you yet again for being on. And I believe we come back to you at the end of the month. No.
The 15th for Clash of the Castle.
15th. We will be back here. Who knows if we have Hex here or not for that. Maybe we have a returning Brother Pyro. We here at Wrestling Crossroads are unfortunately unsure whether or not who we will have. But if we do, we look forward to seeing you again, Hex.
Cliffhanger, who will be here next? Who knows?
Thank you guys again for tuning in and listening. We love you all. Laters.
Back into the void.